Thank you for staying with us. Remember, our hashtag is Friday Night. SMS feedback number is 22422. Now, earlier this week, University of Nairobi law student Ashura Michael tickled people at the Bomas of Kenya during the Building Bridges Initiative report launch. After delivering her speech on the BBI and its bag of goodies for those with special needs, rather persons with disabilities, listen to what she said to President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Mheshimiwa Rais, recently you went to Kisumu na nikasikia ukisema unatafuta mpango wa Kando. Najua mama alikubali. Babangu Raila yuko hapa, ako tayari kuchukua mahari, na ndugu yangu hapa Deputy President akikubali atakuwa best man. Sasa na mama wa taifa tutaendelea kubuild bridges pamoja. Na sasa mtoto wa BBI atazaliwa. Asanteni sana.
That is Ashura Michael, very, very brave, and she's with us here in studio. Hi, Ashura.
Hi, Lillian.
Okay, so very brave of you to publicly propose to the president, and he looked so amused, as well as all the other people there. Were you serious, Ashura? You want to marry the president?
Yeah, if it's possible for us to attain the BBI and the BBI to be passed, yeah, it's possible. But truly, some people misinterpreted what my point was, because for me, I needed inclusion. That's what I tried to mean. In terms, different leaders all through this process, they have been on different angles. Heshimiwa, the president, the prime minister, and the deputy president were all in different angles in terms of the BBI. However, my point was we needed to achieve, in order for us to achieve the BBI, we need to be inclusive. So for me to try to amuse the president, that's what I used for, so that we can be able to be all inclusive. But truly that was not the reason as to why, because you see, for once, I'm a woman, I'm also a person with disability, and I'm also a youth. So BBI cannot only be achieved without including all the three special interest groups. So I want the people to know that BBI can help us achieve that.
Well said. And in terms of the BBI, do you think the report adequately looked into the interests of persons with disabilities? And before you answer that, I also want to just go back to the BBI report launch and listen in to what you had to say. Very briefly, let's listen to what Ashura said on Monday.
We have benefited in the BBI. Article 54(2) of the Constitution. I'm happy that the word progressive have been removed, and it will make sure that persons with disabilities access different positions.
Yeah, thank you, Lillian, for that point, because truly I am sure that many persons with disability will benefit from the BBI. For instance, the Article 54, Section 2, that focuses on progressive, the word progressive has been removed. So most deaf people will access opportunities. For instance, in all the 47 counties, persons with disability or the deaf people are not inclusive, are not included in that. However, I think that this Article 54, Section 2, we will provide many opportunities, elected positions and also nominated positions for persons with disability. And also at the Act 2003 that talks about tax exemption, education, health, economic. So if this amendment is done, then it is easy for the persons with disability to benefit from that. And also with this amendment, persons with disability, including the deaf people in the community, can be easily access information and can easily attain job opportunities. And also in the gender rule, the 2/3 gender rule, truly we need to include the women in the different positions.
But there are certain legislators who are opposed, certain legislators with disabilities who are very strongly opposed to the BBI, and this is what a section of them had to say as well. Let's listen in.
na nataka kuwaita walemavu katika nchi ya Kenya wote to reject BBI.
Presented our views to the Building Bridges initiative in various counties and severally in Nairobi. However, these views haven't been properly captured in the final draft bill as proposed.
And the BBI cannot just purport to be clear on youth and to be clear on women without being clear on persons with disabilities of Kenya.
Okay, thank you for that, Liliana. Honestly, some leaders are really misunderstanding what the BBI needs. They need to take it up upon themselves, take it up the responsibility upon themselves. What have they been doing all these years? 8 years they've been in leadership positions. Which school of knowledge did they go to? They need to take up the responsibility upon themselves to truly read the BBI, understand it, and not misinterpret it. But they cannot always talk about persons with disability, but truly they are not explaining what it is. But also the BBI supports them. So I think that, number one, I'm an ODM member. I am taking it a responsibility upon myself. For instance, the ODM party has a plan to have an electoral college whereby persons of disability can have elective opportunities, so that they can improve themselves. But truly, I'm upset with that. But honestly, I feel like the BBI is inclusive. But we have a lot. Imagine if we amend the Article 252, will provide different opportunity. And when we push for that, it will implement, within a short time. So persons with disability have equal opportunities, and they'll have a lot of opportunities.
Okay, so you are of a different opinion. Let's speak about youth and women. You are a young lady yourself, and you were recently elected Speaker of the East African Youth Assembly. How have you used this platform, Ashura, to advocate for the rights of women and the youth, and particularly just going back to the president's speech during the BBI report launch, where he spoke very, very strongly about the youth. And I just want to play that clip for you and get your sentiments around how you, as the East African Youth Assembly Speaker, are using this platform to put forward the needs and advocate for the rights of youth and women. Let's listen to what the president had to say.
The second big problem we have is our young people. Again, let us not cheat ourselves. It is our young people. We have a youth bulge that, if not properly handled, can be a time bomb that can blow this country to pieces. We must manage it by including them in our decision-making processes.
Wow. Yeah, this is wonderful. Yeah, it's a wonderful statement from the president, because young people are the future for this country. You cannot achieve anything in this country without young people. 70% of young people are in Africa, but if they are left behind, then our economy will not flourish, our vision, our political situation, everything we cannot achieve without them. So young people need to be included and should be part in the decision-making process. For instance, in Parliament we have 70 positions they need to go to the youth and also women and persons with disability, and also different committees that oversight the implementation, the vision of the young people, and implementing and observing different policies that care for the young people. Honestly, I feel like the young people also need to take up the responsibility upon themselves. Truly, you see, for instance, now the president is taking up the responsibility to lead the youth people. Honestly, also the youth people need to take up the responsibility, not only just wait. And also we have young people who are looking at me now. Honestly, we have opportunities out there. We have about 30-40% of young people in Parliament who have been in the appointed position. So that is nice, and it's progressive.
That's good. So tell us a little bit about yourself now as we begin to wind up, Ashura. Why you born deaf? Tell us a little bit about who is Ashura, who is this young lady here that is so bold that we're talking to tonight?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lila. Briefly, I'm the future of this country. I became deaf at the age of 4 years when I was born in Migori County. So I went to Kuja Primary School for the deaf, and then after that I went to Kuja secondary school, and then joined to Nairobi University where I studied gender development. So honestly, a person with disability can being a disabled person is not inability. I can do anything that any other person can do. For instance, the society perceives a person with disability. Truly, that annoys me. They would also like to learn French, English, but most of people, sign language is a beautiful language. For instance, when I met the former Prime Minister, most people misinterpret the sign that I gave. They said that is for the Illuminati. No, that sign means I love you. That's an American and also an international sign for the word I love you. Honestly, people need to understand sign language so that they can incorporate and they can associate with the deaf people in the community.
Final question, Ashura. You have won several humanitarian and leadership awards. Where do you draw your inspiration from, and what do you want to leave us as a young lady that has lived in a society that hears, you don't hear, however, you have achieved so much. So where do you draw your inspiration from, and what do you want to leave us with tonight?
Oh, thank you, Lillian. That was kind of you. Truly, that's also a good question. Personally, what inspires me is the negative perception, that the society has on persons with disability, the barriers that I have endured throughout my life. So I decided upon myself, I need to stand for myself, and I become the voice for the people who cannot speak for themselves. 1958. King Martin Luther King, what he said was, by the end of the day, we will not worry about the silence of our enemy, but we will worry about the silence of our friend. So for me as a leader, I have a lot of energy, I have knowledge, I have so much, so I need to stand out of everyone else and speak and inspire not only people with disability, but also inspire yourself. Like, for instance, inspire you, Lillian. So honestly, different barriers that we encounter, do not look at yourself like, oh, I do not have any opportunity. Use those barriers to inspire yourself, and you can become, maybe perhaps in future, I can become the president of this country.
And absolutely, why not? What do you do for fun? We're closing. It's a Friday. We are closing. What do you do for fun, Ashura? That's the final question.
I love traveling. I love traveling. If you call me to go tomorrow, let's go to America, let's go to Kisumu, I will come along. And also, I love traveling. Why? Because honestly, that's an opportunity for me to learn different cultures, it's an opportunity for me to meet different people with different ideas. If, for instance, if I meet you, Lillian, I learn something from you. I have met you and I've learned something from you. Honestly, you cannot know everything. So you need to learn from different ways, different cultures in this life. And also, learn is a progressive process.
Thank you so much, Ashura. Yes, you do inspire me. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us in studio. You are beautiful, you are young, and you are going places. Many thanks for joining us in studio, Ashura. We're taking a very short break. We're back with business and sports.